Hey guys, Malcolm here at Bug Out Brothers, and today I am showing you guys what I keep inside my prepping closet. Stay tuned. So first, let me tell you guys kind of what I actually prepare for. All right, so I don't necessarily prepare for the zombie apocalypse or the Illuminati taking over the global currency, or the outbreak of some new strand of the Ebola virus. I think all that stuff could happen, and if it did, I would be better prepared for it than most people. But that's not what I actually prepare for. What I prep for is local weather-related disasters. All right, so I'm talking about, if you live in New Orleans during Hurricane Katrina, or you've lived in New Jersey or New York City during Hurricane Sandy. So several weeks after Sandy, there's still several blocks and blocks of communities that had no power whatsoever. And, these people are running out of food, running out of water. The sanitation situation was really declining. It was really bad for them. Just a few weeks ago in Buffalo, New York, they got 6 feet of snow, like in one day, overnight. Now just imagine that for a second. You know that those people are trapped in their houses now, right? All the roads are blocked. Their driveways are blocked, so that's the kind of stuff that I prepare for. That if a natural disaster occurred, like a hurricane or a freak snowstorm, and I was stuck in my house for a week, 2 weeks, I want to know that me and my family are going to be safe, and we're going to, survive that situation unharmed. So that's kind of the mentality that I'm in when I stockpile my food and stockpile my preps. Now, if the zombie apocalypse did happen, I think I'd be better situated than most people. But that's not my goal. My goal isn't to prepare for the zombie apocalypse. So with that, let's actually move over to the closet, and I'll show you guys exactly what I have in there. So this is the majority of my preps are in here. My wife has made me kind of keep them all in one spot. And as you can see, I'm actually really running out of food. Sorry, running out of room. And also, most of my preps are food related. I have several shelves here, just canned food. So this is my bug out bag. I've got a lot of good stuff in here. Obviously now, my plan A would be to bug in instead of bugging out. So if I were to bug in, I would have all the resources in my bug out bag to assist me. So, man, where do I start? I've got a tent here. I just kind of threw that in there. But this is my AR-15. There's really no need to go into that, but I have many magazines. I keep a lot of ammo in there. And my actual rifle. So I have 2 guns, and my wife has a gun. I've got a Glock 17, which shoots 9mm. She's got a Sig Sauer, which shoots 22s. I'm a little low on ammo, as you can see. And then I've also got my AR-15, which shoots 223s. So right here, I've got kind of my go-to bag. If we were to lose power suddenly, I would go upstairs and grab this bag and bring it downstairs. And I've also, kind of trained my wife that if I'm not home, power goes out, all she needs to do is grab this bag. It'll have everything to get her through, the first day or so. Got some flashlights there. I got some thermal blankets. This is where I keep all my my propane fuel. I've got several of these, plus a little stand here. You put that guy in there, you put this in there, and you can cook some water. My last house, we used to lose power a lot. I don't know why, but every year we'd probably lose power, 2-3 times. And, when that happens, it'd be 1 to 2 to 3 days that we would go without power. So we actually did get a good bit of use out of this propane here. So I've got several of these. I've got one of these omnidirectional lanterns here. This one is a crank lantern. Alright, this is good to have. I got some glow sticks. You know, again, power goes out. You know, this is great. First thing you do, grab a few of these, snap them. You're good to go in the short term. I've got a bunch of tea lights. These are also really useful when you run out of power. Got some hand warmers in here, some emergency candles. I think these last for about 8 hours. So one of the first times that we lost power after I kind of made this bag, I had a bunch of these set up in the house, and I quickly realized that I didn't have any candle holders to go with them, and I had to kind of improvise a few, and they were not stable. It was not safe, so I went out and bought just a few candle holders to hold my emergency candles. That's about it. I got some more flashlights here. I got some batteries, another little omnidirectional light here. So this is kind of my quick go-to bag when power goes out. So it might not be a natural disaster. It might just be, you know, a bad storm occurred. I grab this bag. I'm good to go for, you know, the first day or so. Also, it goes without saying, I've got matches in here. Alright, so in here, I've got, well, I got a whole jumble of stuff. I've got, I think, 3 gas masks that I've bought. You can get them incredibly cheap. You can get a gas mask for $20 now. You know, you go to Cheaper Than Dirt, you can get them really cheap. Got some gas masks. I've got some filters for them. So like I said, I don't really prepare for the Ebola outbreak and the zombie apocalypse, but it is entirely possible that could happen. Something like that could happen. And I mean, I got gas masks for me and my wife and all these filters, you know, it's like $60. So yeah, $60 is worth it to me. You know, even though I know the chances of that happening are very slim, but you know, it's just $60. I got some thermal shirt here. And here, the rest of this bag is really extras, right? This is all my extra flares, my extra fuel tanks, big thing full of extra boxes of matches, a poncho here, tons of these emergency candles, some extra pellets for purifying water. You know, I buy all this stuff in bulk, and this is my extra box right here. So while I've got these out, let me go on to gas masks. I think I bought Israeli gas masks. This is kind of one of the filters that comes with it. Alright, so I got this guy, I think it was $20. You know, that's not a lot of money. So I've got him. Now I forget all the measurements, but I also bought an adapter. There we go. So I bought this adapter right there that goes on to him so that I can use, I think, NATO filters, which are cheap and plentiful. You can get these all over the place. So I've got this gas mask. I think I'm going to use this one. And I've got this one. I'm in the Air Force, and at some point I came along this gas mask laying around somewhere. This is what we use. Well, this is what we used to use. This is a small, so this will go to my wife. So, you know, I'll give her the better gas mask, the American-made one. But again, with the adapter, this Israeli gas mask, we use the same filter as this American gas mask. So I've got 2 of these for me and my wife. Alright, so I've also got some more lighting here. I bought this recently. You know, again, speaking from experience, when power goes out, these omnidirectional lights are really nice. You know, this will light up an entire room. This one's got multiple settings for power. So I really like this light. I've had to use it a couple times now. This is just another little crank flashlight. I've got a few of these. You know, you can get something like this for $20. And what's really nice is you essentially have a light that is never going to die on you. This will never run out of power. You know, if you stick this up in your prepping closet and you don't see it for 10 years, you don't have to worry about if the batteries are dead or not, right? This is always going to be charged. This is a recent addition. I found this toolbox for 20 bucks. I thought it was kind of cool. I think all I've got in here right now is just some random stuff. I got some duct tape, electrical tape. I've got all my cleaning supplies for my guns in here. So in a long situation that lasts, you know, several months, if I'm actually using the guns, you know, all that cleaning supplies for the guns is really going to come in handy. This little thing might seem kind of silly. All it is a battery-powered fan with a little spray bottle attached to it. But, you know, like I said, I used to run out of power at my house a lot. And one time we went, I think, 3 or 4 days without any power, and it was the middle of the summer, and damn, it was hot out. And even in the house, with all the windows open, it was still incredibly hot. And you have to, I mean, that is a major concern. You know, I've heard stories of people where when heat waves come in, you know, somebody will get like their AC stolen. I heard the story of this old woman who lived alone, and somebody actually stole her entire air conditioning unit from outside of her house, and she eventually ended up dying because the heat was so extreme, and you know, she's a little old. So I mean, heat is a major concern, just like the cold weather is a concern. So I bought this little portable thing. It you know, it's just good to keep you cool if the weather gets really hot. Something nice to have. Alright, then I've also got one of these tub liners. So the idea is that if you know a hurricane is coming, you stick this in your tub and you fill it up with water before the hurricane comes. That way, if you lose power, if you lose water, you have a tremendous amount of fresh water in your tub. It also comes with a little pump here. Now, this isn't necessarily needed. You can just, you know, close the drain on your bathtub and just fill it up anyway. But this will help keep the water, one, from evaporating and keep it a little bit more sanitary. You know, I don't necessarily want to drink water out of my bathtub. And also, you know, the last little bit of water that's in this bag, you can kind of maneuver the bag to get it out. Just a nice little thing to have. Alright, so let's take a look inside this organizer. I've got all sorts of stuff in here. So this top drawer is really my first aid drawer. I have some more stuff than this, but this is most of it. Got a little first aid kit here. I've got some little filter masks here. A lot of hand warmers, some bandages, some gauze, some tissues, some more bandages, some more gauze, a couple military items here for creating like splints and bandages. You know, just some good stuff to have. So this is all my first aid here. So in a real emergency, I know that all the stuff is right here. Now I've also got my more redundant items. I have in another room, in one of my bathrooms, I have under the sink. Drawer number 2 here, just, you know, I got a crap ton of batteries. I got some duct tape, I've got some flashlights, some cordage, a multi-tool. My brother bought me this. It's kind of neat. But one, it's a knife, but this actually, handle comes off, so you can attach this to the end of a stick and create a pretty dangerous looking spear. You know, that's not necessary to have that, but it's just something fun. Drawer number 3, I got some more medical supplies here. Some more, again, filter masks. So this medical kit here, I actually put this together. I went to the dollar store, and you'd be amazed what you can buy at the dollar store. You can get all kinds of stuff. You can build a very, very good first aid kit entirely from the dollar store. And I think that's really what this bag is here. So So I've got all kinds of stuff in here. I'm not even sure. I know somewhere I've got a whole bunch of hand sanitizers. Here we go. Hand sanitizers, very nice to have. And they are also great little fire starter. So again, this is mostly first aid right here. Drawer number 3, got a lot of electrical tape. I've got a duffel bag here. As you can see, I've also got another duffel bag there. And some earplugs. Let's stick this guy in here. Go, drawer number 4. I've got a couple of unopened MREs, and then I've got a couple opened MREs. So like I said, I'm in the Air Force, and every now and then they give us these things to eat. And if I can get away without eating them, I will, and I'll keep them back here and store them. Sometimes I'll eat some of the stuff, and I'll, leave the rest of it to come back here and go in my prepping closet. Looks like I got another MRE. Alright, so finally moving on to food. I have got quite a big collection of canned food. My rule of thumb is every time I go to the grocery store, just about, I'll spend an extra $2, $3, $4, $5, $10 and just pick up some food to add to my collection. Typically, if I can find something for 50 cents or less, that's a great deal. So all these beans are all 50 cents or less. In here, I've got several things of corn, peas. I've got all kinds of stuff. Some green beans, I think, back here. Up here, right, I got some more protein sources here with these Vienna sausages. All this stuff, I wait until I get a good deal on it. Down here, let's see, I got a lot of fruit. You can never really find these for 50 cents. This is usually like 75 cents or more. But, in a real survival situation, you're going to get very tired of eating these veggies and beans and rice. This will be a nice little treat. Get some fruit in there. Fruit, I got some carrots, like I said, if I see something on sale, I'll buy it. This is all from one grocery shopping spree right here. You pick up this much canned food every time you go grocery shopping. This is maybe $5 worth of food, and your collection is quickly going to add up. I've got some packets of Gatorade here, some more beans. I've got some condensed evaporated milk. This is usually used for cooking, but you can actually mix this with water to kind of dilute it some, and it'll taste very similar just to regular milk. And this will last, in the cans for several years. I've got some salt. I got some more fruit up here, and I got a big thing of sugar. I don't have any specific uses for the sugar and the salt, but they're just great things that come in handy in a long-term situation, especially salt. If you have to resort to actually hunting yourself and you get any small games, salt is really great for preserving the meats. Up here, I've got some a big thing of rice. This is one of several I have. I don't think all of them are in here. I got some ramen noodles. These are really cheap, and for a short-term emergency, these are nice. If the power goes out and it's only out for a day or two, this is really quick, really easy, really tasty. I don't necessarily recommend stockpiling on these, though. I've seen a lot of people, they got an entire closet full of ramen noodles. There is probably like no nutritional value in ramen noodles whatsoever, or if there is any, it's very small. They taste good, they'll fill you up, but you cannot sustain on this. You need protein, you need vegetables. Over here, I've got a couple gallons of water. So I actually have, down in my garage, I have 20 of these. One day I went and I saw these. Oh shit, look at that. Anyway, one day I saw these for $1 a piece, so I bought 20 of them all together. And, in a real survival situation, water is going to be your #1 priority. It's not food, it's, water. And a lot of people overlook that. So for $20, I've taken care of my water situation for, you know, about a week or so, week long emergency. So let's see, over here I got some more gun cleaning stuff. I got some little camping fuel. So I don't have very many pre-bought food preps. You know, every now and then I will buy some. I buy a lot of things like this for my family for Christmas. But that's kind of my goal. Is actually I do need to stack up more on these. So I got some vegetable stew here from Mountain House. Let's get this out of here. This is one of the few prepackaged deals that I have here. So it lasts for 25 years. I have 60 servings of freeze-dried food in there. So these tubs were one of my first voyages into prepping. And I bought a bunch of these watertight and airtight tubs, and I have a bunch of Mylar bags as well as oxygen absorber packets. And the plan was to buy rice and beans, put them in the Mylar bags. You seal them using some kind of heat source, and that food in the Mylar bag with the oxygen absorber, you know, that'll stay good for 20, 30 years or so. So I've been slowly stockpiling my rice and beans, and eventually I get around to sticking them in the Mylar bags and sealing them up. But that's what I have inside these three containers right here. So I've got a crap ton of rice there, a giant bag of beans, some more rice, some more rice, and some more rice. So I have quite a bit of rice and beans. But, you know, obviously you don't want to survive off rice and beans. That's why, you know, I have all the veggies here. I have some meat, some sugar, some salt, you know, to kind of supplement that. And I also have my 60 servings of prepackaged freeze-dried food in there. So that's it, guys. That is everything that I keep inside my prepping closet. Now, it's taken me probably about 3 years to accumulate all this stuff. You know, when I started off, I would just, every time I'd go to the grocery store, I'd pick up, you know, 1 bag of rice or 1 bag of beans or 5 cans of green beans or whatever. You know, I just slowly accumulate this stuff. And then I also started setting a goal of every month I'd spend about $100. And I had set myself at a limit of $100. And I'd buy something related to prepping, whether it be batteries or flashlights or something for my bug out bag or something for my guns. And, you know, I've been doing this, about $100. That's my budget. And slowly I've been able to accumulate, you know, quite a bit. I think I have more than enough gear to, you know, more than enough food for at least a month. You know, I think maybe even 2 months that me and my wife could survive off this if we really had to. You know, and I'm not done there yet. I still have plenty of goals to keep adding to my collection, keep refining it, keep expanding on it. But there it is, guys. That's all of my preps right there. I'm laying it all out for you. Let me know what you guys think, you know. Did you like what I have? Did I give you any inspirations of things you should buy? Or am I a noob compared to you? Do you think I have a long ways to go, you know? Let me know down in the comments, you know, what you guys liked, what you think I need to add to my collection.